This episode of Chasing the Dollar is proudly brought to you by Sportingbet. There's no better bet than a Sportingbet.
Well, hello and welcome along to Chasing the Dollar, brought to you by Sportingbet. Ben Damon is my name, joined by Adam Pengilly, and we're having a look at, a meeting that's not quite as strong as in recent weeks, but some nice little races there. Yeah, it's a bit hard to come off a Group 1 final with the Peter Mossman Classic last week, Ben. Let me assure you, punters, I've still been wiping the egg off my face that Zolly Aaron left there last week. Probably the only man in Australia who was alive in the last leg of the quaddie and managed to leave her out. But it was full credit to Graham Bate and Zolly Aaron. She was fantastic last week. Probably no one thought she was going to lead, but once she led, she was never going to get beat. Get back to some more standard fare at Wentworth Park this week. We can still find a few winners, Ben. Yeah, we most certainly can. And Mexico City is the one we're having a look at in the first leg of the quaddie. Was pretty handy last week. Yeah, I thought it was very good, Mexico City, in that race behind Zipping Milo, where practically the whole field of 6 dogs all finished within a length of each other. It was a fantastic race. I thought Mexico City never shirked his task in that assignment, and I think he finds his right race here on Saturday night. There's a little bit of speed drawn out wide on the track, but I think he can get the fly. Importantly, he hasn't taken too much harm from that fall he had at Wentworth Park a few starts ago. His last 2 runs in tougher company have been pretty good. I think this is the right race for him. I think he can land on the bunny and win this. He's a good bet for mine, Mexico City. I've included Pride of Mykonos for second. I think this greyhound is underrated sometimes. He always seems to go around at some generous odds, and because of his early speed, he always seems to put himself in the race. Granted, he's probably drawn on the wrong side of the track here, considering he likes to dart towards the rails. But I think with his early speed, he can be prominent in this race. And I think he's probably a decent each-way bet and the knockout hope for mine. I've included Weldon Flash for third. He ran a race at odds last week like we thought he could, and he certainly helped us land the exacta. His record from outside boxes is pretty good, and he's another who'll go into our quaddie. And I've just thrown in Jeremy Jett for fourth. He's usually a little bit tardy early, but will rattle home late. Don't discount him from your calculations, but I think he just might find his level in the market on Saturday night. That takes us along to race number 6 on the program, the second leg of the quaddie. Lagoon Luana goes around here, one of your favourites. Yeah, she is, Ben. I'm going to put her on top. She absolutely oozes class. This is a really tough race, actually. There's plenty of speed drawn right across the track. But I think coming back to Wentworth Park, I prefer to see Lagoon Luana drawn a little bit outside on the track, and in box 5, you can probably make a case to say that she has done that. I think she's got enough speed to burn down the middle of the track. She's going to have to be on her game with the likes of Dainty Banquet, Mine's a Red One, and Electro Storm all burning across from outside alleys. But I think she's capable of winning this race, and with a moderate beginner underneath, I'm happy to back Lagoon Luana in the free-for-all. Going to include Dainty Banquet for second now. He's absolutely low-flying at the moment, charged across from an outside alley and won handsomely last week. A lot tougher task in free-for-all company this week as opposed to the 5th grade, but I still expect her to take a power of beating and charge across towards the bunny and be hard to beat if she lands on it. Fast Archer is another one who was a last start winner and has again drawn perfectly on the rails. If he can run that 5.37 to the first marker like he did last week, I'm pretty sure his supporters will be on good terms with themselves in the run. And I've got a huge wrap on Double Twist, but I just think the draw is a little bit awkward for her on Saturday night, and she might be giving a little bit too much ground to some of these speeds in this race, but she's one for your wider multiples. Well, that takes us along to race number 7 on the program. It is the third leg of the quaddie, and it is a very, very open race, this one. Where have you found it? Yeah, a little hard to make a case for a few of these, Ben. I'm going to go with Cross-Eyed. Now, she's been racing pretty consistently on some of the country tracks, including Gunnedah of late. I think she's drawn pretty well out wide on the track with a little bit of early speed. I think she can carve across from an outside alley, land on the bunny, and might take some catching. So I'm going to include Cross-Eyed as my on-top selection. Magic Mirror is probably the big danger in this race, drawn on the other side of the track. Now, she's been pretty consistent of late, running some handy middle distance races behind Gradance. I think if she can punch up along the rails and hold a position, she's definitely a winning chance for mine. So she's the big danger to Cross-Eyed. I've included Spiffer for third. Now, she hasn't won in 34 tries at Wentworth Park, believe it or not, but I suggest it's probably the easiest race she's found for a fair while. Her recent efforts have been sound, so she's definitely not without claims as well. And I've included Steadfast Cosmo for fourth. Looks the best of the rest on paper, and one for your wider multiples. And the final leg of the quaddie is for the stayers, and it's a very nice race as well. There is the field, and you're going to go with Gradance from the 7. Yeah, I'm going to go Gradance, Ben. I thought his couple of efforts in middle distance races at Dapto and Nowra of late have been really good, actually. Really interested to see what sort of price he comes up on Saturday night. I think he can be every bit as good, if not better, than some of these other stayers in this race in time. The draw is probably just a little bit of concern for mine, but I think if he can balance up, sweep around that first turn, go past the post the first time I ask him within striking distance, I'll give him a huge chance of running the leaders down in the last 100 metres. Like I said, interested to see what price Gradance comes up, but I'm happy to make him a good bet on Saturday night. I've included Midnight News for second. Now, she was pretty gallant in defeat last week behind Set to Shine in the Blue Paws final, as opposed to the previous week when she got run down by that same greyhound. She was making
making up ground late last week. I think she's emerging stayer and one that will catch the eye late, so she's definitely not without a chance as well. I've included Set to Shine for third. Now, she's drawn again pretty well towards the inside of the track, looms as a potential leader. I just think she might find her level in the market in what is a really tough affair, and there'll be plenty of sweepers boring down on her late. And I've included Where's Karoma for fourth. Now, he's actually chalked up wins against Set to Shine at Midnight News in his last few starts. But I think this race might be just a little bit tough, a little bit more depth. So I'm just going to include him for fourth. So 7, 6, 2, 4 in a really tough race.
Well, it is time to get Adam's best bet on the program. What is it?
Going to go with race 9, number 7, Ben, Rustic Rocket. I think Kenny Cheatham might have a smart one on his hands, and Rustic Rocket will make his Wentworth Park debut on Saturday night. Pretty moderate affair, probably pretty short, but he should be able to get the job done.
Okay, give us some value.
Going to go with Graydon Spen. I'm really interested to see what price he comes up in the Stayers race. I think he's got plenty of ability and might be able to surprise a few in the last leg of the quaddie.
All right. Let's have a look at that quaddie. This has to be the week.
Has to be the week, Ben. We've been pretty unlucky last week, or pretty stupid, some might say. But looking towards the outside boxes in the first leg, I'm going to go with Mexico City, Pride of Mykonos, and Weldon Flash, who will all be burning across early. In the second leg, I've included Lagoon, Luana, Dainty Banquet, and Fast Archer, who are our hopes in the free-for-all. Just going to include Cross-Eyed and Magic Mirror in the third leg. And the Stayers race, we're going to come home with Graydon, Midnight News and Set to Shine. I think $20 gets around 37%.
Okay, beautiful. Well, we won't see you next week. You'll be up in Queensland looking at the State of Origin, but we'll be here having a look at Wentworth Park.
Well, we've been taking a week off looking at the State of Origin, but hopefully get a few winners to go out and bang with.
Yep, most certainly. We'll see you next time on Chasing the Dollar.
This episode of Chasing the Dollar is proudly brought to you by Sportingbet. There's no better bet than a Sportingbet.